everybody. This is the Let's Talk podcast, hosted by Ira Warren, a facilitator and coach with Vistage Worldwide. In each episode, Ira shares with you over 40 years of successful business leadership and his driving passion to enhance the lives of CEOs throughout Long Island using the Vistage Peer Advisory model. Here's this week's show.
Today's guest is James Forster, the son of the late, great Dr. Arnold Forster, one of the originators of Applied Kinesiology. Dr. Forster earned his doctorate from York Chiropractic College in 1985 and was tutored in depth by his father for many years. Needless to say, he learned from the very best. Dr. Forster runs a successful practice with offices located in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Long Island. He's spoken from many institutions as well as on the radio on the benefits of chiropractic, nutrition, and health. In addition to his medical practice, Dr. Forster recently became an entrepreneur in another fashion, beginning a supplement distribution business, which he is very passionate about. In addition, Dr. Forster is an accomplished drummer, and he toured all over the US and Europe as the personal chiropractor to the Ramones. And in full disclosure, I'm proud to say I've been a patient for the past 7 years, and he's helped to keep me healthy and strong. Welcome, Dr. Forster, to Let's Talk.
Wow, thank you, Ira. Thank you for that nice, warm welcome. I really appreciate it. And thank you for this opportunity. It allows me to reach out to more people and make a difference, because we all have priorities in life, but I think all of us can agree that we're on the same page when we say that health is our priority. That's pretty collective. Yes, relationships, yes, finances, all the other things in life are so important, but nothing really falls in place unless you're in good health. And good health is good for many. I don't see people that are interested really in good health, which is average health. I see people that are more interested in optimal health. They're actually higher end jobs, a lot of CEOs, CFOs, COOs, bank presidents, people who are very endowed in real estate. And these people have to function on better than good. So I'm interested really in the question being answered, who doesn't want to feel great? Who doesn't want to feel great? Right? An obvious question. Yet there's so many things that scare people or stand in the way, and there's so much misinformation out there that I'm finding most of the doctors in the world are doing a great job, but unfortunately patients are going to wrong offices many of the times. So they're getting the provider service which wasn't appropriate for that particular condition or diagnosis. Thank you for clarifying that I was the chiropractor to the Ramones, because hearing that I'm a drummer and then touring with the Ramones for 13 years, there could be selective listening there.
They go together, you know?
Yeah, I was not their drummer, yes. And I appreciate that. And yes, the vitamin distribution business is a new baby of mine. I've been working on that for a little over 5 years. And that is just a natural branch of healthcare for what I do, because there's really 4 legs to the stool. I know it's an old philosophy, but it works. And the 4 legs of the stool goes like this, Ira. You have treatment, and treatment doesn't have to be what I do, although I have an integrated practice that involves chiropractic, kinesiology, reflexology, cranial adjusting, spinal adjusting, extremity adjusting, and nutrition. And we integrate all of that into every visit. The treatment can also be acupuncture. The treatment can be massage therapy, and there's many different types of that. And sometimes it's a combination thereof. I like all 3, but many patients find that if they get massage and adjusted by me, then they're 100%. Again, many people are willing to live at the 80 and 85% mark. My patients want to be 90 and 100. I even have patients that come in and they say, I'm at 100% for over a year with you. I feel great. Is there another rung on the ladder? Is there another level to take this? And the answer is yes. Because when we start out with people, we don't give them things like moderation in diet, because in the diet that I give people, there's no moderation. What I mean by that is it's a little sarcastic. You're not allowed to eat any sugar. So there's no moderation, and that includes fruit. And there's no moderation of plants and vegetation because you can eat as much as you want. So because I have the 0-100 rule, there's really no moderation. You follow?
Yeah. At the onset, you were talking about, the COOs, the CEOs, and all the people that, you come across. And, one of the things that I'm really aware of is the life of an entrepreneur. It's just such a grind. There's always another goal to pursue or another fire to react to. And with so much on their plate, I just wonder, is it, it's as important. It's so easy for their health to fall off the radar. What do you find in your practice?
Well, let's start off with the first word of the question, which is people that are functioning high end find life to be a grind sometimes. That word triggers so much in me, because if you're doing something you're passionate about enough to have become an executive and be functioning at a high level and want optimal health, you can't grind. You have to go take continuing education courses and stimulate your brain with some new ideas and knowledge, because we all know knowledge is power. You need to change your attitude, reframe it, rethink your life. Stop thinking of all the things that are bringing you down and think of all the gratitude and the blessings. And that's called, attitude of gratitude, which gives you latitude. And that's what everybody wants in business.
I love that.
So this
That attitude. Go ahead, say that again for me.
You want that again?
I do.
You got it. We take on an attitude of gratitude because a good attitude gives you latitude.
That's awesome.
Gives you lots of room.
And it kind of segues into one of the things I was wondering about in addition is we all hear about, the mind-body connection, and you just brought up, stimulating your brain and doing things you love. Our mental performance clearly affects our body, and our mental performance. And how do you balance that today?
Yeah, that's such a great point. Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's such a great point. I love covering that one because the 4 legs of the stool, which I hadn't completed, the first one was treatment, and I gave the options for treatment. The second one is supplementation. The third is diet. And the fourth one is lifestyle. And of course, lifestyle is the only vague term there. So we would have to embellish on that. And that, in brief, because it could be an entire podcast in itself, I would say it's not really about what you eat, but the way you eat it. What I mean by that is, are you sitting down in a relaxed fashion? Are you chewing your food long enough? Are you drinking too much with the meal and diluting your digestive enzymes? Are you on the run? Are you grazing all day? Are you having a 2-meal day, a 3-meal day, a 1-meal day? Do you skip meals? So there's all these lifestyle things. Exercise. What kind of exercise? How often do you do it? Are you mixing up cardio with some stretching and yoga type things? But the most important thing I could cover between mind and body health and all of that is, what do you do for a living? Meaning, if you're a guy who's using his head all day, you have a desk job, you're an attorney, you're a CFO, you're in the insurance business, using your head all day means you must go home and work out. And you have to find a workout that's really fun, something you look forward to. It shouldn't be like, I can't believe it's going to be Tuesday tomorrow and I have to go to the gym. I mean, that's already, you got to change something up. Take snowboarding lessons and take trips out to Colorado. Do something exciting and fun that's a great workout, fresh air, exercise, tennis, handball, walking, running, rolling. It doesn't matter as long as you look forward to it as an activity. And by the way, you're sweating and getting exercise. And it's good to mix it up. And the most important thing is consistency. Weekend warriors doesn't cut it. You have to do things during the week. Me personally, I do stretching during the week and more of my yoga routine. It fits into my office and work schedule. On the weekends, I have a lot more freedom, so I get out there and run around on the court and do my skiing, snowboarding stuff and my swimming and more active like that. So I balance it out like that. The other side of the coin, you have people doing physical work all day. You have construction workers laying sheetrock, builders, plumbers, electricians, guys, in hard positions with their body. Those are the guys that really love my chiropractic end of my work. But you have people that have very physical jobs, even moms. A mom's job is purely physical. You need to go home at the end of the day. You put the baby to sleep. You get home from your job. You must take out a book. You must get some mental stimulus. Read a book for enjoyment, as well as read something about nutrition. Be self-educated. It's a funny thing, I do this for a living, but every single walk of life that I come across in my travels, it seems like no matter what you do for a living, everyone's interested in nutrition and healthcare.
We're going to take a break here for a couple of moments, and we'll be right back with Dr. Forster.
Vistage is where leaders learn and grow. We help CEOs and business owners grow their business through executive coaching and peer advisory groups. Ready to succeed at a whole new level? Learn more at irawarren.com.
The whole idea about a healthy relationship, I loved your answer about how to balance, and it really came down to doing things you love and, balancing exercise and life and everything else. And really, that brings it all, together in a wonderful way. And you talked about sweating too, and hydration. But you mentioned just now Jim Rohn, and if I recall, he was talking about you're the average of 5 people you spend time with. And it really, again, in the same way you're speaking about balance, about healthy and fulfilling relationships and adding that to the mix of how you eat and everything else. Everybody knows that a healthy, fulfilling relationships are also a key to a happy life. But that's also part of our health as well, right?
Absolutely, Ira. Bring up a couple of great points. As far as Jim Rohn's philosophy on some of these things, and I just want to tell you, there's an interesting statistic that I've learned from my patients who are really functioning at these high levels. Most top executives read approximately 1 book a week. I don't do that, but that is what's going on in peak performance these days, just as a goal for all of us to work toward. And I keep trying to get in greater numbers every year. I'm not there yet. But Jim Rohn said, how many books should you read in a year? And the best way to answer that is by asking another question is, how high does a tree grow? Well, as high as it possibly can. You never saw a tree grow half as high as it could. Well, but have you seen people grow half as high as they could? Of course, because many people don't tap into their potential. And all those reasons are for another podcast. But the fact is, many people have a lot more potential than they're expressing. So the relationships, it is a relationship with your body. It's a relationship with food. It's not just a relationship with the 5 most influential people in your life. And that's another common feature in people who function optimally and don't want anything average in life. And they are selective with their audience, and they like to. Let me ask you this question. Do you look forward to being with negative, pessimistic people? Do you look forward to being...
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait.
Right? You look forward to gossipy stuff? No, we want to get together with motivated, enthusiastic people who want to talk about their dreams. They want to talk about philosophy and ideas and theories and all of the exciting things about life. As it said, no white space on the calendar makes for a healthy life. If you're busy being productive, which is with as many hours as you can, and we have 14 productive hours in a day, 168 hours a week. If you're doing the best with that time slot and wasting minimal amounts of seconds, then you are being fulfilled no matter what you're doing, and now you've created a healthy relationship with yourself. That will extend to your relationship with your significant others and your significant friends. Just a handful of friends is all you need. My wife has a cute one. She says, friends like suits. Go out and get a handful of really expensive, great ones. You don't need a whole closet full of junk.
That's well put. Really, it sounds to me like a good deal of our conversation is all about balance and balancing all of these things. And, I think that almost segues into the studies out there that's also, you were just talking about, no white space on the calendar. And at the same point, there are studies out there about mindfulness and meditation, anxiety, depression, improve your cognitive ability. Would you like to say something about meditation and where that fits in and being
Sure.
mindful?
I would love to, but let me address it in a little bit of a reverse order for you, because I like to talk about cause rather than effect. The cause of most people's issues with cognitive thinking, being able to be fast, think on your feet, be sharp, be accurate, which is what I require in my life. You require it. The top executives we meet all require it. They're not willing for compromise. Well, that originates in gut health, and it's called the GBM axis, like Good Boy Mary, GBM. It stands for gut, brain, microbiome or microbiota. That's the name of the flora in the gut that everybody's going after with probiotics these days. And a whole nother section, I'd love to talk about more things about nutrition with you one day, because there's prebiotic that's necessary for the probiotic, and many people skip that step and they're not getting the full benefit of a probiotic. There's also something called leaky gut. And if you're spending time and money taking probiotic and you have leaky gut, which means there's cellular gaps in the intestines that are allowing toxins to leak in and nutrients to leak out, the exact opposite picture of what we want. That will affect your brain as well as your body. It causes inflammation, and it starts to cause anxious thoughts and feelings, which in many people can lead to thoughts and feelings of depression. I say thoughts and feelings because it doesn't mean you are depressed, as in clinically depressed. It means everybody at some point in life has thoughts and feelings. It doesn't mean you have a clinical condition. Well, people who keep their gut healthy don't run into these negative emotions. Serotonin is not important just for happiness, but it's also for libido, which could lead to happiness, but also motility of the gut. It's for cognitive skills. Serotonin is also known as an excitatory neurotransmitter. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. It rather puts the brakes on our nervous system. The counter to that is dopamine, which is the excitatory neurotransmitter that makes everybody addicted to stuff. Everything's about dopamine nation, right? Aren't we like addicted and go back for more of what we're addicted to? I try to get my patients addicted to what things that are healthy and supportive in their life, getting on the right supplement programs. What supplements do we use for leaky gut? Well, the distribution company I own, we have a specific product called Total Leaky Gut that's all in one, so you don't have to take 5 products. You just take one pill, more of a multi-approach. Very economical, very easy, 2 to 4 pills a day depending on the person, and it will heal the cellular gaps. At that point, you go into total probiotics and you start putting down a new film. Now, people that have a greater level of disruption, let's say they have something called diverticulosis or diverticulitis, colitis, Crohn's, celiac, ulcers, all of these other kind of conditions, they need a little more repair work. So we work with something called L-glutamine plus, which also has chlorophyll in it as well as the amino acid L-glutamine. And that's a big healing agent on the gut. And that formula happens to have a little bit of probiotic in it as well. But it's not going to be so effective on a gut that needs so much repair. The amazing results that we watch from the supplements, from the practice with the patients, is getting the gut healthy leads to mental and physical health, but on a level that I call high on life. People say to me, you got the practice going, you got the distribution business, you're teaching continuing education credits, you're busy with your band, you got a full family, wife and 3 kids, you got trips and business trips and pleasure trips, and you're doing podcasts and all kinds of good stuff going on. And they say, how do you find time for all that? And I simply tell them, I find time because I still have a little bit of white space on my calendar. And I could put a little more in and a little more. Why? Because when you're healthy mentally and physically, you are on green light go. You want more. Look, I'm in the business of helping people. How does it feel when you help people? Did you ever buy a present a month or 2 before you actually needed it for an event because you were at that store and you said, I'll save myself the trip? Or to see something in stock that you really love for somebody and their birthday's coming up and you say, let me grab it now to make sure that I have it for them. I don't want it to run out of stock when I come back in 2 months, blah, blah, blah. So you take the gift, you put it on your shelf in your closet, and you remember that it's all set for the big birthday, right? Now, how do you feel leading up to the day where you're going to give that person the gift? Well, you're very excited to give them the gift, and you want to get your phone ready because you want to video their face when they open it up. They want the excitement and the whole moment attached to it, and you feel so good giving them what you knew they would love. Well, that's how I get to walk around all day, because people that are coming to me are just getting healthier and healthier and getting high on waking up every morning, having a dream, and trying to complete that dream by midnight. That's what happens when you're healthy. There's an enthusiasm and an excitement and a gratefulness to having another day of life to make a difference on this planet. I get the greatest gift of that because I'm helping people get their health. But every business is a service. If you're selling cars, you're not selling cars. You're selling a service. You don't buy a car and end it. You have to bring it back for repairs. You're also selling a service manager. There's a human being attached to that sale.
We all know that physical and mental health just don't happen by accident. And Dr. Forster, you're a great example of what's possible when you dedicate time and attention to being healthy. How can we find out more about you? And I even before that, I could talk to you for hours and listen to what you have to say, and maybe we'll get the opportunity to do this again soon. But in the meantime, how do we find out more about you now?
Sure. Well, I'm very easy to reach. I have a couple of websites. The chiropractic website is getwell@forsterhealthcare.com. And that's Forster. Many people leave the R out, so I just put that in there. And I think if you don't put the R in there, you end up at some strange website somewhere in California or Europe or something. And the other website is jforster@nutriwestny.com. That's NutriWestNY.com. We are based in New York, but the distribution company, we serve 7 states of New England, Ira. So from New York, here our home base, all the way up to Maine. It was a real pleasure being here. Thank you. And I feel like I want to do one with you that's just open-ended with no questions. I feel like I could just talk to you guys for hours.
Just talk for hours, and what you have to say is just, so useful. And, if the world started following the way you live and practice, we'd all be a whole lot healthier, live a whole lot longer, and be happier. And as I opened up at the beginning as a patient, I'm privileged to be one of your patients. So thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure.
Truly my pleasure as well, and I do walk my talk.
Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Podcast with your host, Ira Warren. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. If you're interested in joining more than 23,000 members across the globe that count on their Vistage Peer Advisory Group to help them make better decisions, be better leaders, and get better results, then let's talk. As always, you can head over to irawarren.com to sign up to our email list, get more information on joining my Vistage Peer Advisory Group, as well as check out all the links and resources in the show notes. That's all for this episode, folks. See you next time.